What's up, witches? I'm Taylor.
And I'm Amber.
And this is
Waking Up the Witch. We're your neighborhood witches. Each week, we talk about all things witchy and connect with other humans in a storytelling format about navigating life on this floating rock.
We're two curious ladies trying to understand the human experience. But while we do that, we think it's important to honor the people that lived here before us and honor the cultures and traditions that we're being inspired by.
This podcast is about waking up the witch, which means we are learning and growing every day. That being said, we are always open to feedback on how we can do better.
The views and opinions of our guests don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Waking Up the Witch. Now, let's go, ghouls!
Hi, Taylor.
How are you?
I'm really great. How are you?
You know, I'm pretty great.
Fuck yeah.
Feeling good. Vibing high.
Me too. What a week it has been.
Yeehaw, cowboy.
It's just been so fabulous.
Yeah.
We did our very first witchy night at Pascal's this week.
Yeah.
Sorry, dear listeners, for not the heads up via the podcast. It kind of just came out of nowhere.
It just happened.
Yeah, but that's how it's supposed to be. And now we know, and it'll be happening monthly every fourth Thursday.
Correct.
At Pascal's.
In Talent.
Talent.
I
Yeah.
almost said Phoenix. In Talent, Oregon. We will be pulling cards, like cleansing your crystals.
Releasing what's no longer serving us. Yahida, she's one of the most amazing women that I know here in Southern Oregon. She's one of the bartenders there, or wine tenders.
Manager.
Yeah, manager.
Yeah.
And she brought this little glowy tree that she has and had everyone write down what they're wanting to release and tie it onto the tree. And on the next full moon, she's going to burn them live on the Pascal's feed. So she can help release everyone's bullshit that they want to get rid of, which I think is just such a beautiful idea. So she'll probably always do that as well, I think.
There was an older woman there, probably like 75, clearing people's chakras.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Yeah, she had these beautiful chakra chimes and just kind of intuitively felt where people needed adjustments and did sound tuning for them. It was pretty wild and magical. We all kind of piled in there without really any expectation or knowing.
It was so fucking busy. Holy shit. I've never even seen that place like a quarter of that busy.
No,
I did not expect that when I pulled up.
The witches and witchy curious came out, and it was
Kurt's
so
like,
amazing.
Oh, so you showed up an hour late and had to park like a mile away?
Basically. Yeah.
It was great. I thought there were probably going to be 10 to 15 people.
Yeah.
Not 50 to 75 people.
No, there were so many people, and I had a little table set up. I brought a few items from my shop that people could purchase if they wanted, and a few oracle decks and my tarot to read for people. And once I had the first person sit down at my table, I did not get up until 9:30, and that was at like 6:15.
It was supposed to end at 8.
Yeah, it was nonstop. People coming like, do you have a line? Can I come next?
It was so good.
Where do I sign up? It was so exciting.
Was so
like
good.
I've never done anything like that personally. And it was really fun because I just 100% trusted my intuition and allowed my intuition to, take inspiration from the cards rather than trying to see what the book has to say about the cards. I just really was like, this is how we're doing it today. And it was so spot on for everybody, which was really exciting. And everyone was just blown away by what we were all doing and the magic that they were receiving and the guidance they were receiving. Just there was a lot of the same themes that night too, I felt, with people that kept coming up. So I don't know. I just loved it. We were so buzzy afterwards.
Yeah, I also, I've never read tarot for strangers before. and you're like, just get in there. And I was like, I don't know. I've
She
only
showed
done
up. I
this
was
on
like,
TikTok.
I know you thought about maybe not reading, but you need to read. These people will not stop coming.
Well, yeah. And so I just started. I didn't I trusted my intuition, but also don't. I just was talking. Just whatever came out of my mouth,
Straight
I said it.
channeling.
And then everybody's like, oh my God, that is like so spot on. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. And some guy was I was like, I don't know. I feel like you need to, like, do you bike? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I feel like you're being called to like get on your bike and like do this and um maybe not wear your headphones, but like pay attention to like what's going around you. And then I really think that like there's animal signs being called in. So like
Mm.
I feel like you'll get down. He's the only person that night too that I was like, I feel like you will receive your downloads while you're biking. And I was like, I don't know if you're like a creative person and if you feel like that's blocked or whatever, but like you will find your creative inspiration on the bike. And then after he
Mm-hmm.
goes, how'd you know I was a biker? I'm like, I I don't know. I didn't. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm literally just talking.
He's like looking around to see if he has any like
Yeah, he
biker
was like looking at his outfit and I was
anything
like
on himself to
just
give it
shrugging. I was
away.
like, I don't know. And then it got really loud in there and another girl was like, can you repeat what you just said? And I was like, no, I have no idea what I just said.
Yeah.
Pay attention. We're just flowing here.
Oh my God. It
So
was
for me, it was really weird to channel and trust my, like, not even trust my intuition, just say whatever came forward.
yeah.
And people being like, wow, how did
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm just talking. And it was just every single person except for maybe one was like, oh my God. And I think that that person needed to dig deeper because I
Totally.
pulled the same fucking card in a different it said the same thing in a
Yeah.
different way like 4 times and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what else to tell you. It's like all right here. Work on yourself. I don't know. But it was very confidence
Yeah,
building for
totally.
me
Totally. Yeah, it's kind of was that like your first professional reading experience basically?
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read stuff on TikTok like 4 times, 5 times.
Maybe a little bit for clients. Have you pulled so much yet for clients?
No.
Oh, okay. So that was straight up
Mhm.
your first experience and like with strangers,
Mhm.
people you don't
I'm
know.
offering it with clients, but
Yeah.
I haven't really done it yet because I don't know if I'm supposed to do it while they're in the chair or if I should like have them still in the bowl detoxing when I pull the
Mm-hmm.
cards and let them like meditate on it or give them the option. I haven't really worked it all out
Yeah.
yet.
Ask your higher self.
Hey girl, what's
Yeah, that was such an incredible experience. I'm so fucking
I
grateful
can't wait to do it
for
again.
it. Me too. I'm pretty sure we have marked on the calendar for the one in March. I will be doing a collective drumming
Mm.
journey for people. It'll be a reservation style one. So keep an eye on Pascal's Instagram and get on their newsletter if you're not, because that's where you'll find the information about how to reserve your
We'll
spot for
also
that one.
yeah, we'll also post
Yeah,
stuff
we'll
too.
share on our Instagram as well. But I will be doing a drumming journey for people, whoever reserves their spot for that one. It'll be part of it. And then I'm sure we'll do readings and stuff again too after that.
Mhm.
So I'm just excited to see what gets birthed from this experience. The owners were blown away and like not knowing really what to expect. And everyone was just celebrating at the end. We got to hang out and like share champagne with everybody and just be in awe of the experience we all
I
had.
definitely feel like we are releasing everything, like all control. Like we have no control over how this is going to develop or what's going to be brought forward
Yeah.
or how we're going to grow or how other people are going to grow. Like
Yeah.
it's whatever is going to unfold is just going to happen the way it's supposed to. And it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty crazy.
It is beautiful.
Pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that
I'm ready. Bring it on.
hell yeah.
Like that fires me up.
yeah, I like even the next morning, I was just like, I'm still so excited
My whole
about
body
what
was
happened.
tingling.
Yeah, straight up
Yeah.
vibrating.
Like my blood pressure.
It was very thrilling and just so wonderful to connect with our community in that way and to see the turnout and see how much people are craving these types of experiences too.
And that was very, very short notice. Like, how many people are going to be there next time with a whole month's notice?
Oh yeah.
And like people talking about
Yeah,
it.
they came out on their newsletter the week before the event.
I haven't even summoned my like groups.
Yeah.
Should be crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So fun.
So
I can't
fun.
wait either. So put on your calendars if you're in Southern Oregon and desire this type of community connection. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Fucking incredible. Every fourth Thursday.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the time will change because clearly we needed more time than what they had originally scheduled. So I know they're workshopping that, but
Mm-hmm.
just to put it in your minds for now, and we'll do our best to keep our Instagram updated with that
Yep.
information for those who want to join. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Highlight of my week, of my year. Like,
Yeah.
so fucking great.
It's crazy because before I even pulled up into that place, I was like, into the winery, I was thinking, like, what a fucking good day I've had. I was just, every person and everything, I was just like so grateful. And I was like, cool. Like, I'd be happy if it ended like this today. And then just to like add on to it, I was like, magical, magical day.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
best.
it was so good.
So I think I'm still just like that. I mean, that was 2 days ago for us now. I'm just like so fucking grateful, really, is the all I can say. So grateful for the opportunity and the connection. And I really feel too like you and I became a part of the Pascal's family that
Oh,
night,
yeah, big time.
hanging out after everything and
They're all
just
so funny and fun
they're
and
wonderful.
pure and lovely.
Yeah. It's
So
lovely.
funny. We have a super special guest today.
It is one that we've been
The
anticipating
long
and waiting
awaited
for.
arrival.
Joey.
Joey.
If you've been listening, if you're caught up, we've mentioned his name just about every single
Yep.
episode. We've officially dubbed him the Waking Up the Witch mascot, good luck charm.
Yes.
When we don't talk about him, shit goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a huge part of my spiritual growth and development,
Mm-hmm.
and just a huge part of my life. One of, again, another amazing person that I know and have connected with, and truly someone who will be a lifelong friend. He's so
Mm-hmm.
special. And I'm so grateful that he agreed to be a guest here on Waking Up the Witch and use his voice and story because it is one that really is so important and needs to be told. And I think a lot of people are going to resonate with what he's been through and his experience in
Yeah.
life. And then we also just kind of talk a little bit about how he and I started practicing together and realizing that we both kind of helped each other wake up again. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. It was magical. I can't wait to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And my first like really time connecting with Joey as well.
Yeah, I think the only other time you actually talked to him
FaceTime.
was the very first time we were recording our intro, I
Wow.
think.
Yeah.
Like
It's true.
he was at the beginning of that. I just now realized that.
Yeah.
And we just had a quick little
In your
FaceTime with him
little room at
in
your
my little
house.
room.
Hmm.
when this was still just a baby seed of an idea.
No, it's a thing.
It's a real life thing. So enjoy finally meeting the infamous Joey. We hope you love this episode.
Enjoy.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Waking Up the Witch. Let's just take a moment to get grounded in our breath. If you are able to, go ahead and close your eyes. Plant your feet on the ground if you feel called to. And let's start with a great big deep inhale together, breathing in and release. And another big breath in together. And release. And this last one, let's hold it at the top. Breathe in. And release. Just take a moment here to notice your body and how it feels. No judgment, just stepping into your body, fully being present here in this moment. Noticing any thoughts that come through. Just allow them to pass. I'd like to call in our guides and spirit team and our higher selves to be here with us today. I'm so excited for this episode and our very special guest. And I would just like to invite in yummy goodness, beautiful energy here to wrap us all in love, calming our nerves, helping us to stay present together, sharing in many laughs, helping the collective find themselves again in someone else's story, helping us to share and be a little more vulnerable today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Taylor.
Hello. Hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
Oh, hi.
Finally.
The day has come.
I feel like this is a much anticipated episode. I feel like
It
I've got some
is.
big shoes to fill.
You do. No pressure.
Sweet dear listener, if you've been listening, you've heard Joey's name a few times.
Probably every episode.
He's another best friend of mine.
Mhm.
He's a fantastic bitch. My lovely cunt. I love him. And he's been a big part of my spiritual journey, especially here in my late 20s and 30s. And he's just someone who's so fucking incredible and beautiful and wise and hilarious. Like, you can always count on him to make you laugh. And he's a brilliant artist and just someone who I adore greatly. So,
thank you.
so fucking grateful and excited to finally bring Joey to the rest of you.
Ooh, welcome, Joey.
Welcome, Joey.
Hi, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, other than all those other things?
Oh, well, I mean, my reputation precedes itself. I am a loud, fantastic bitch.
Yes.
Love
So,
it.
Amber and I kind of have the same past. We both kind of grew up in the military. We both lived in Germany.
Yeah,
So
that's
weird.
so weird. Like,
Albeit,
basically at the same time.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, I think as I was leaving, you were just moving there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
The
so I grew
universe
up
was
in the
just
military.
preparing us.
Exactly. We were just gravitating around each other's auras until we finally
one day
clashed. The Big Bang.
Love that.
But yeah, so I grew up in the military. So we moved around. In my family, we moved around like clockwork every 3 years or so, which I would say attributed a lot to my sort of ability to be a chameleon and sort of adopt whatever culture I was being thrown into. As I was going along, and it also helped me to not really give a shit about what people thought, because if I didn't like you, you were going to be gone in 3 years anyway. So, but yeah, so I grew up in the military. My dad was pretty conservative. Religion was sort of a point of convenience when it came to my parents.
What do you mean by that?
You know, well, they weren't super religious. We didn't go to church every Sunday, as it were, and they really didn't bring up religion as in conversation or whatever. But when it was convenient for them to stand behind that religious conviction, that was when they would play that card.
Right.
How
So,
convenient.
yes, it was definitely their main platform when it came to my coming out experience.
Right. That's what I was
So,
wondering.
yeah.
How is that? If you feel like sharing, if you feel open to that.
So, so my upbringing. So I grew up with my dad and my stepmother from the age of 9 onwards. My parents divorced when I was 9, and then we were living with my dad and my stepmother. And we were living in Germany at the time. It was coming up on that 3-year mark where we're going to be moving back to the States. I had already graduated from high school. So I was just working, living at home, kind of waiting for us to return back to the States. I was saving money. I was going to plan on, making my exit. At that time, I was around 18. I come home from work one day, and turns out my stepmother had gone in to my room, found my journal, and read it.
No.
And that's kind of how I came out. And
What a
as
asshole.
I
That
know,
makes me
it
want to
was kind of an asshole
cry.
move.
That just
But
takes so much power away from you in that situation. That's
yeah,
so
that's true.
upsetting. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, well, long story short, they didn't take it well. And so the funny part is that my dad, he's such a mama's boy. He called his mother, my grandmother, and she's about 50 years older than I am. So I was 18, she was 68. He calls her and he's like, "Do you know what I just learned about Joey?" And she was like, "You didn't know?" So after
Wake
all of
up.
that happened, there was this big blowout with me and my dad. I ended up staying with my sister Tracy, who lived on a farm in Germany at the time. So I went and stayed with her for the night. I bought a plane ticket and moved back to the States by myself. And I moved in with my other sister Kelly for a little while. I stayed with her for a few months. And that was kind of, how I started just my adulthood, I suppose. And navigating through trying to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, it's already hard when you're that age, and then you are also like, great, now my whole family has disappeared basically, and I'm awful in their eyes. So then you're navigating
Right.
Where
those
was your
feelings.
birth mother and your relationship with her during this?
So she was my mom's had a hard life herself, and she wasn't in a place to take me in and support me by any means. She was just trying to support herself. I'm not really sure where she was at the time when I was moving transcontinentally. But she did call me. She was super upset with my dad and how he handled everything. So she was very supportive.
That's good, at least.
So I had a few members of my family that were, being good to me. So I felt good. But it was, it was definitely those formative years, between 18 and I would say 22. Those 4 years were really formative, really built up the platform of who I am today, you know. Yeah, I mean that's that's my coming out story.
Are you getting a little teary-eyed right now? Yeah, I can hear
A
it
little
in
bit.
your voice. It's hard to see the from the computer from where we're sitting, but just holding you and hugging you
That's
and
okay. You
loving
guys are
you.
silhouettes.
It's that's fucked up and shitty and clearly still like holds some pain in your heart, reliving that.
Do you have a relationship with your dad now?
No, not really. No, he's sort of the same as he's always been. Very conservative Republican. He's the one that kind of is like, oh, why do they have to shove it down our throats when they see like anything gay on TV? God
Good
forbid.
God.
Ridiculous.
There's a few of those in my family.
So
So I don't really have a relationship
that's
with
probably
him.
for the best. I think people are far too patient and forgiving with their family sometimes. I'm like, fucking cut them off. They're not good for your well-being at
Oh yeah,
all.
absolutely.
I just feel I feel lucky because, and maybe it's easier said than done. Maybe I just like haven't had to actually do that. So it's easy for me to say, but my patience with that kind of stuff is very low. Because also you have so many people in your life that genuinely love you for who you are. So, I mean, blood or not, like it, you kind of have to choose your family. And if they don't want to be around, that's kind of their loss.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you think that I kind of want to take that part, like point of your life and go from like how that led into your spiritual journey and like how you became this witchy man yourself?
So, when I was around like 13, I would say it was probably around 13 or 14. I was living in Virginia. You know, the that's sort of the time when everybody's kind of going through their sexual awakening and kind of coming to terms and understanding, their identity.
Hormones.
And, at that time, having been indoctrinated with how my family was, I kind of, I always knew I was gay from the earliest memory I have to, now.
No question.
But right around
Still
like
going on.
right around like 13, I was trying to lean into the Christian faith, thinking, well, maybe I can pray it away, and I'm not going to say I didn't have a great experience when it came to the church. Like I went to a church, it was kind of like a karaoke church, which was
So fun.
fantastic. They had a karaoke machine on the stage, and if you felt so called by the Lord to sing a song, then they would allow it. And it was
like just any song.
Absolutely terrible, but also
Did you
fantastic.
get up? I said like any
What's
song.
that?
Did you get up there and sing Mariah?
Oh, of course not. I wasn't that confident at that time. Besides, my whistle register still needs a little work. But I leaned into the Christian faith. I was trying my damnedest to do what I felt at the time was right. and my whole coming out experience, and then being on my own and being able to experience like the gay culture, sort of inspired me to unlearn some things that I had convinced myself was reality. And having taken such a deep dive into Christianity, I had to swim back up.
So when you were trying to like pray the gay away, at what point did you realize like that is not a thing? This is like not gonna. This is who I am. Or did you pretend for a while that like it was working? Did you ever try to date women? Like, what did all of that look like when you were 13, 14?
So I had one girlfriend in my entire
What was her
life.
name?
It was, I'm not going to
Nope.
say her
Okay.
name because she kind of didn't deal with my coming out all that well. Her older sister was the same age as my sister Tracy, and they were really good friends in high school while I was dating the little sister in middle school. And they still talk, like Tracy and her older sister, they still talk and they're still friends. But the girl I was dating, she was like, did I do something that did this to him? Like, she was taking on responsibility for my sexual identity, which has nothing to do with her by any means. But so I don't know. I don't think she would
That's
want me to
totally
give her
fair.
name. So
yeah, so you had a girlfriend, and then did you realize like this ain't it? Like, how did all of that go with the pray and the gay away?
well, I was the one in church who was like, well, why this when
Right.
it said that before? And then they would take me aside and be like, you're asking way too many
right.
questions. So I was like, okay, all right. So I kind of internalized that, and I kept my composure, during church hours or whatever. But it did sort of plant the seed of doubt that this was not my
Totally.
path. And so I was unpacking all of that. All in the meanwhile, I was always very intrigued, and it piqued my interest to go into the occult, into folklore, studying the Salem Witch Trials and things along those lines. So that was my middle school. And then of course the craft came out.
Yes.
Everybody's awakening at that point.
So true.
I think that movie played into everybody's
Totally
awakening.
I agree.
If you were an 80s or 90s baby, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Millennials.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Did you have any other friends at that time who were also interested where you could be accepted for that? Yeah.
Not at that time, no.
So you're just like super
No,
closeted on all levels, studying away, learning the things that you have an interest for, and learning your body and learning just who Joey is, and telling everyone, just walking around like trying to be what other people want Joey to be on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's sad.
It was kind of like I was living inside a shell, and the shell was what I was presenting to the world, and I was staying inside.
That's so fucked up, because I feel like that is literally what society wants. Like, not all of society, but like the people that don't understand or are also living in their little shells themselves. Like, they want you to just be in this tiny little shell and just wither away and away until you're so small you don't have an opinion or like any kind of real stance, I guess. Like it's just so
Totally.
sad.
And
Totally.
don't ask any questions.
Put it on the shelf.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Your opinion is only valid so long as
Yep.
it fits my own.
Snaps. So, okay, so you moved in with Kelly, and now you're like, did you feel a sense of freedom then to be like, well, now I'm outed, and so I could just kind of start to chip away the shell and be a little bit more who I feel I am?
It took a little while. I mean, it does take a while to sort of chip away at this thing that you've been building up for years and years. Sometimes you do have to just break yourself and put yourself back together.
So what did that look like for you?
So once I've moved out, I was living on my own. I had basically decided that the Christian faith was not mine. Then it was sort of asking questions of myself of, well, who am I? That took some time to figure out, and I think everybody sort of struggles with, figuring out who they are, who they are most authentically. I think a lot of people struggle with like imposter syndrome or feeling that they don't deserve space.
Especially like in your 20s. You literally are given the opportunity to become who you think you are, who you want to be, and then you're influenced by like a whole different set of rules in your 20s, and you're trying to break away from the what you've been told you're supposed to do in your 20s growing up, just trying to I don't know, it's just kind of the theme for your 20s, I think, too. And even in your 30s you're still trying to step into that authenticity, but you don't, most people, I don't like care as much anymore in my 30s like I did in my 20s what people think, or I still care to a degree for sure. But
I think just being human.
Yeah, exactly. It's it is definitely a big changing period in your lifetime as a human being in your 20s, trying to figure out who you are and how you want to present yourself to the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of it is unlearning and unpacking the things that you grew up with. So, I mean, because I'm an early 80s baby. So, I think in my parents' ideals, we grow up, we graduate, we get married, we have children. That's sort of the nuclear dynamic. Everybody's destined to follow that structure and, continue being a cog in the mechanism.
Yeah, you go to a job that you hate for 50 fucking years, you don't complain, you retire and you die. Yeah.
You retire,
no, thank you.
and then 9 years later you die.
Yeah. No fucking
and that's
thank
if
you.
you're lucky.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I am like, if you're early 80s, 10 years younger. So I do think, so my mom's only like 55 now. So my growing up experience definitely, I mean, my mom is very open-minded, but what is different, my parents are younger. And then you see that like our generation raising kids is going to be so fucking awesome. I'm so excited to see like the way that my friends' kids are able to just be as fucking weird and authentically themselves as they want. If they want to fucking paint their nails and wear a tutu, but also carry around a dump truck and like whatever, like you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
Absolutely.
excited to see that change happen.
Yeah. And I've said it before, but I think that we are living in a very interesting time right now. Like these last 50 years and the 50 years moving, you know, from now, like we are in an age of technology where, you know, science and medicine and you know, everything's advanced so exponentially quickly. You know, it's like the last 30 years, the last 20, the last 10 years, even the last 5 years, like things have just, you know, been moving so quickly. You know, it's kind of like what the one of the last Wind Down Wednesdays episode, Taylor, you were talking about like what you can do in a minute. And it's, I think that we're just, you know, been sort of conditioned in a way with all of the things, you know, that are available to us today to constantly be seeking that, you know, dopamine.
Absolutely.
Hit
in one form or another.
That makes me think of, sometimes I'm like, okay, so my grandma is like 78, she's doing fine, and it's like we've spent so much time just like on the health and wellness of everything. Like I'm so paranoid all the time of like what I'm putting in my body, how many hours I'm sleeping, all the exercise, and it's like she didn't do any of that shit and she's fine. It's like, are we all just have too much information and now we're just overthinking every single little thing? It's like too much. You just have to like be a human for a while.
Yeah,
too
totally.
much.
And it's all subjective. I mean, you know, some things work for other people and some things don't work, you know. Like I read this article about this like woman who's 107 years old or something like that, and they're like, you know, what's the secret to longevity? And she's like, I drink a Dr. Pepper every day.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I said about Kurt's old neighbor. He was like 100 and he was like, he would walk 7 miles to go get his pack of cigarettes and bottle of whiskey, and then he would walk the 7 miles home, and that was his secret to longevity.
Yeah.
Do it again the next day.
So funny.
Tangent.
Yeah, love
it. So, where are we in your life?
Bring us back to your like spirituality and discovering more about the occult and like what your 20s looked like, and just you know, what occurred that brought you closer to you now.
Honestly, you know, other than reading books, I think that my spiritual awakening happened with you, Amber.
Yay.
Because you and I both kind of picked it up at the same time, which I think was like, what was it, 2017? Or was it 18? I think it was 17.
17, I think. Yeah, like near,
that
like
sounds
that's
about right.
End of summer time. Like I think we both had our own like kind of more private practices that weren't on any sort of schedule or anything, but it was like we've dabbled in these things and we've enjoyed these things, and you know, I think we connected and realizing like, man, we've been friends for a while, why have we never talked about this really? And then started our moon rituals.
It almost sounds like you guys kind of gave each other permission to be that and like be yourselves in that way too.
Yeah, I think
we definitely did.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is super weird because when I was in the bathroom right before we started this, I was like thinking how I needed to say on here, just like surround yourself with people that allow you to explore your spirituality or your sexuality or whatever weird hobby you have or whatever. I literally wrote it down right before we started. And so just like hearing you guys say that is so comforting.
It helps so much to connect with people who are kind of a judgment-free zone for you. And, you know, of course, having some similar interests helps to spark those things in your life. But yeah, I mean, okay, so I think part of it was we had this old friend and we ended up meeting these quote unquote witches at a karaoke
here we
night.
go.
And like, to me, I was like really excited at first because it was something I'm always craving and wanting to get back into. And like, you know, just kind of like, it's just such a beautiful opportunity to be intentional with yourself and your day and your week. And like, just, I don't know, it's a beautiful form of self-care. So I was really excited to meet these like witchier women. And she had said something to me like, oh, you're a witch. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just don't do it. I'm like a witch who doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so we had connected. I don't remember if you were there that night, Joey, or not. I think we might have been like, oh, we can't wait for you to meet them.
I
Doesn't matter.
think you guys had met up a couple times before, and like
Okay.
every single time I was out of town or I had other plans or something that prevented me from actually meeting up with
joining.
you.
Yeah.
And then I finally did.
Yeah.
That one
And
time.
so they did like, they would try to put together moon rituals and like come together. And so we would go and, you know, it was just nice to like start that practice. Ultimately, what they were doing is like pounding a bottle of whiskey and like airing out all their dirty laundry. And like, we never really did anything. It was just kind of like a bitch session, which can be fine too. But that was literally what was happening every time. And things got toxic. Another story for another time. And so we stopped hanging out with them. And Joey and I were like, well, we do really love the idea of gathering together on the moon. Like, even if it's just you and I, how about we try to do that? So we started creating our own private, me and Joey, moon rituals on like the full moon and the new moon. And it was really great because I got to see this whole other side of Joey that I never knew. Like, he like came over and he's like, okay, it's the full moon and we're going to release what's no longer serving us. And he got these papers out and he wrote in fucking Latin like the spell. And then we like, you know, we made, I don't remember, did we have a little fire or did we just light candles? I don't remember. And so we're like outside and we like laid down this whole cloth. We brought all our crystals and our tarot cards and just, you know, anything that we wanted to charge with our energy. It was so beautiful. And we just like hung out and we did, you know, share in our grievances and things that were going on in our lives that we were wanting to release, just to kind of, one, grow closer, be together, but to amplify the energy of the releases or the calling in. So, you know, we really would talk about like what was going on in our life that had been holding us back so that we could workshop it together and actually take action on healing those things or moving through that energy. But yeah, I mean, he just was like so fucking witchy and I had no idea. It's like, look how cute you are. Now I'm going to try to read Latin. I don't fucking know how to read Latin. But it was like a fun experiment, you know, and just like he had like this whole little book of shadows and did you make it or it's like just so beautiful. I don't remember.
Oh no, I didn't make it. I bought it at a
Just
bookstore.
really cool.
It's just a journal.
Yeah, but it's like so fancy and gothic and
yeah, hold on. I think I have it right here.
yeah. Oh.
Whoops. Yeah, I have it right here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, look how
it's just this like felt
so beautiful
journal with like some gold gilding on the side.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd been like
it's kind of like a little journal of my witchcraft journey.
Yeah. He would like write different spells in there for us and you know, different intentions and like we really put like so much energy into it together, which was really nice and it fueled both of us. And I think like we both were going through really hard times at that time separately, like different situations, but it energized me so much and just I don't know, it just was like, I'm showing up for myself and I'm showing up for my friend, and we just get to be together. And if like the rest of the week is shitty, at least in 2 more weeks we're gonna do this again.
And that was kind of right on the precipice of the infamous friend breakup
Yes.
for
Yep.
you.
Yep. Exactly. That was all right in that same time. And so going
Yeah.
through that, it really gave me it gave me so much. Like I literally don't have words for what that time with you was for me. And I mean, through all the whole fucking however long I was crying about it, Joey was the one, like literally holding me and supporting me and just sharing in the energy, even if it, he couldn't make it go away or fix it or anything, but he just was a phenomenal friend going through such a terrible heartbreak that I was in. And yeah, I fucking love you. And thank you. I know
I love you
I know.
too.
Yeah.
And I think
Anyways.
that brings up a really good point as far as like, supporting a friend in a really hard time. Like sometimes it's not about bringing solutions or repairing anything. Sometimes it's just being there.
Yeah.
Yep. I was literally thinking that yesterday. I I don't always have the right thing to say, and I don't think you are supposed to even sometimes say anything. Like just holding space for people is like the most important thing.
Totally. It was incredibly valuable. And it was like at least almost a full year of just like the same fucking circle jerk.
Yeah.
Like, cool, no big news, but I'm still really upset about it. This other thing happened where just making it a little bit worse. When am I gonna fucking wake up and stop caring about this?
Probably never.
Yeah. Well, I
No,
mean,
I
you
feel
were
great
kind of
now.
getting led on. You were kind of getting led
Yeah.
on.
Totally. Yeah. But I mean, still, like, I do believe everything happens for a reason. I believe that breakup was a big part of my spiritual awakening. Like, I had to go through that intense energy and loss to realign myself with myself and like doing things for me because I want to do them, not waiting around for someone else to do them with me, which I was doing for a long time in that relationship, especially that last year. And yeah, I mean, being able to tap into it, I mean, it gave me meat to work with when I was trying to learn tarot and all those things. Like, oh, what am I going to pull cards on today? I wonder what. And just really helped me dive into my spirituality and get more connected to using divination and working with the moon and connecting with friends. And it honestly, like, I remember Joey and I eventually opened up our circle to other people, and it was really beautiful because it was a huge realization that, like, had that other friend not left my life, I would not be in that situation with all these incredible new people who were coming into my life. Like, literally, that door shut and like a big double French door opened up, and all of these incredible beings that we were making friends with out in Denver invite, and like they're all wanting to be witchy with us too. So it was like all the like-minded people that were brought into my life because of this one big major loss. So
yeah. I mean, it went
thankful for
from
it.
just you and me, and then a month later, the next full moon, we were hosting 10 people.
Yeah, that was
which
so amazing.
Ridiculous.
And they're all like looking to us for like direction. And I mean, it was just so funny because we were still in the infancy of our own ritual makings, like, what does this look like for us? And like, we didn't know much, but people craved that also and wanted to be a part of it. And it was so beautiful to be able to connect with these incredible friends and hold space for them and give them a platform to release and to call in and focus on their manifestations. So beautiful. And we did that together. We created this incredible magic. And yeah, I feel like, I mean, the pandemic kind of slowed us down, of course, put a stop to our rituals in person together. But, you know,
How long were you guys friends before you both were like, I'm interested in this? What about you?
Joey, take the floor. Talk about our friendship. Start from the very beginning.
How did you
Okay,
meet?
so I was born.
And 4 years
Fast
later,
forward.
in 2 days, I was born. Oh yeah, Joey and I, our birthdays are 2 days apart.
I knew that.
Yes. So we both met through a mutual friend on 2 separate occasions and 2 different mutual friends. So the first time I was living in Albuquerque, I was living upstairs to a mutual friend. Amber was in town visiting from Arizona. She was living in Tucson at the time. And, so I reached out to my friend. I was like, what are you doing? I'm off today. And she's like, well, I've got my friend from Arizona here. Let's all hang out. I was like, cool, let's do it. So I came downstairs, got introduced. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't really think that I would see this girl ever again. We were just going to hang out for the day. I think we watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
I think
that
we
day.
watched Hedwig. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And we smoked a couple joints.
Yes, we did. And then, so fast forward a few years later, I moved to Denver. And then another friend that we know, Cheyenne. Hi, Cheyenne.
Hi, Cheyenne.
She moved to Denver a few months later. Like, I moved in January, she moved in May. And then that whole summer, it was the summer of 2013. It's infamous. It's solidified in our friendship. This
the best summer ever.
It was so great. We had a magical time.
The most fun.
So you were living in Longmont at that time, and you were coming down to, slumber party with us every weekend, pretty much. And then 6 months later was when I realized, holy shit, you're Arizona. We've met before.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Which is also super weird that, so all 3 of you lived in Albuquerque and then Denver? That's fucking weird.
Well, so yeah. Cheyenne and I and the friend that he lived above, we all went to high school together. Okay. So that's how I knew both of them.
How did you all end up in Denver?
Yeah, that's
just by chance.
Bizarro. So my family is like from Colorado. My mom moved us back and forth between New Mexico and Colorado so much growing up. And so they both were like my homes. And then after living in Arizona, I was missing home, and my mom and stepdad had moved back to Colorado, and I had gone to visit. We lived in Southern Colorado growing up, and they were now living in Northern Colorado. And I had visited for the first time. I had never been north of Denver, and briefly went through Denver and was like, oh my God, it's like a whole nother world. It's so beautiful here. And so I really wanted to move back and be closer to my family. My sister was having babies. So I moved back probably 2011, I think. And then Cheyenne she had come to visit me shortly after I moved there and had also fallen in love. She was shopping around for grad school, like where to go.
Oh, okay.
And so she decided to apply at DU and got accepted. So then the following year she moved to Denver for grad school. And then I was like, I'm never going to see my best friend if she's going to grad school and I'm living an hour north of her and I only have Sundays off that would match her schedule. So I was like, I'm moving to Denver so that I can see her any chance that she's not in school or work. And so that's when I re-met Joey.
And then how did you end up in Denver?
So I ended up in Denver because my partner's family is from here. So his grandparents were getting older in their winter years. we decided to move to Denver to be a little closer to family. So we ended up, you know, selling the house we were living in Albuquerque and moving to Denver in January of 2013. The September before was when I first met Cheyenne, and it was because she was trying to rekindle a friendship with Amber and I's mutual ex-friend now. So I had met Cheyenne just the one time before, and she's like, well, I'm going to be going to grad school, so we should hang out. And I was like, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were meant to all
Yeah.
be together.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally. And it's
absolutely. It was
interesting too,
definitely
like
written in the stars.
Yeah.
through that friend breakup, it's like we always return back to that, is like no matter what heartache we went through or confusions or whatever, like it helped us grow and ultimately it brought us together.
Mm-hmm.
And we like are so fucking meant to be lifelong friends.
Yep.
100%.
Love.
Yeah.
So thank you, old friend.
I'm gonna take a pee break.
Potter, potter, potter.
Be right back.
Okay.
I mean, that definitely brings up a good topic in regards to the witchcraft community in general, is that there are some members who are problematic in that they are exclusionary to queer and trans people.
Mm-hmm.
Those self-proclaimed witches who think that witchcraft is exclusively female is incredibly toxic to the community and exclusionary. And I think
100%.
it's just ridiculous.
That's
So
similar to the like the new age spirituality being the pipeline to basically the alt-right and like QAnon. It's
I did hear something like that recently.
Yeah, it's like
whoa.
I don't know. I'm like, how did you
wait,
get there?
what?
So there's
Yeah.
this whole like the very extreme like new age spirituality is definitely a pipeline to like the alt-right and like QAnon stuff. So thinking like these people are so far out. Like it's like, okay, I get it, but like let's bring it back down to reality a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like kind of similar, I feel like, to what you were just talking about with like witchcraft community excluding people. I also just like people with such rigid guidelines to anything. I'm like, let's flow with life a little bit here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's really no fucking rules except don't hurt yourself, don't hurt others, and try not to hurt the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Isn't there a specific witchcraft writer that kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh,
Kind of
I know who you're
ignited
talking
that.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was a book called Witch by Lisa
Okay.
Lister, who was very much about the power is in the pussy. If you are not female, you do not belong to witchcraft, which is absolutely ridiculous, because if she had done any research at all, the Salem Witch Trials, 9 out of the 19 who were massacred that day were men.
Mm-hmm.
Full body chills. Holy shit.
Yeah, you're like, just peep in
So
history for a
That's
second.
literally almost half.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's
there is
those people who
power. I don't know.
it's those people who I call the gatekeepers.
Yeah,
And they
100%.
speak through a voice of arrogance. They think they know, the right way to do it, when in fact there are no rules, just like Amber said.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like they are the gatekeepers, and I'm kind of like the greeter, the door greeter. I'm like, hi, welcome. This is witchcraft.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Come on in.
You totally are.
It was actually really nice to like hear Amber talk about her spiritual journey and how involved I was in that, and then also
Mhm.
hearing Julia's
Yes.
own story as well. And I feel like really validated by hearing, you know, what role I played
Yeah,
when, you know, at the time I wasn't really aware what impact I was
totally.
making on them.
Totally. Yeah, I was surprised too when Julia had shared that like we were her like uh launching pad basically.
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, I had
I
no idea. I
know.
totally
And
thought
what
you were straight up a witch too."
Holy shit, what a humbling experience, because that fucking bitch is so powerful
Powerful.
and so
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
wonderful. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely adore Julia. She's so
Yes.
phenomenal.
Love that.
Ugh.
Yes. So glad you brought that witch into my life.
Absolutely.
I like
You and her romance is just like filling me with life. I love
Yes.
your friendship.
Oh, I love her so
well,
much.
I think your like talking to Julia was also a nice reminder that like it doesn't matter at what like stage you are in like your
Mhm.
spirituality or your growth, and there is nobody that like knows more or better. Like we're
Mm-mm.
all always fluctuating in like different points and parts,
Mhm.
and like
Absolutely.
yeah, it doesn't really matter where you are as long as you're practicing and trying to be a better person.
Yeah, it's not a place for
Absolutely.
comparison, like, because especially in the world of witchcraft, there are so many different fucking avenues to go down, and like
Absolutely.
there's interests that I'm gonna have and different interests that you're gonna have and different interests that you're gonna have, and then we all get to kind of bring in our like nerdy witch knowledge together and be like, ooh, but did you know this? Let's all learn a little bit about this
It's like
too.
a witch soup.
Yeah.
Just throw it all in the
Like
pot.
it's
Serve me
not
up a
a
bowl.
Yeah.
there's not this hierarchy, uh at least not in my world. I know it does exist, I acknowledge it exists, but not in my world, and I'm not attracting that either. That's not coming into my world because I'm a newbie, is even though I've been doing this for several years and like have really stayed on my path. I mean, I'm still not fucking doing a moon ritual every single month necessarily. I acknowledge the moon's there. I'll look at her.
You
I
also don't
might
have to.
No, you don't have to. It's not like there aren't these fucking rules. And I'm still a witch. I'm just as much
Yeah.
a witch today as I was when Joey and I did our
Mhm.
first moon ritual together. And I'm always learning and always finding new interests and things to be excited about and grow my knowledge. And then I find people who want to hear a little bit about what I just learned. And then we get to nerd out together.
Yep.
Right. And I mean, that's kind
Just,
of what this whole podcast is about. It's not
yeah.
about speaking
Learning.
from a point of expertise. It's
No.
about just
Absolutely.
sharing your life experience and, you know, what you know.
Exactly.
Um,
And I hope this platform is like really validating to other people that are
Yeah.
like, oh, well, oh, I don't know, or just nervous to either be themselves or explore more and
Mm-hmm.
just like realize, okay, we all call ourselves witches, but we're definitely not experts. So
No.
like you can and you are too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Joey will be there to greet you at the door.
that's right.
Hi, welcome.
Here's your welcome basket.
Love it. um I don't know, is there like anything else that's coming to mind with you and your journey, or things that you'd want to share about that, or what does your practice look like these days, or
Mhm.
any
Well,
other witchy Joey wisdom?
so well, I think it was actually last year, wasn't it? The when you uh, booked us the natal chart reading with Carly Wharton,
Oh, yeah, that was for our birthdays last year.
which was incredibly mind blowing. She is fantastic.
Yeah, we'll have to have her on
She
sometime too.
absolutely, if she's open to it, I would love to listen to that episode. She's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic, and I she's such a wonderful person to talk to. Just we were going on, and like then it was coming up on the last 15 minutes, and we were like, okay, here's what we need to talk about. But she evaluated my natal chart, but then she also went into a human design
Yeah.
reading, which I had never even heard of before she brought it up during our session. And that was really eye-opening because, you know, the chart was telling me that I was an experimenter, basically, which resonated with me because ultimately all through my life, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But jumping from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and it's because I will hyperfixate on this thing, master it, and then I'll move on to something else and start, you know, experimenting once again. And that's kind of that experimentation phase is where I really thrive. So my spiritual journey into witchcraft doesn't necessarily settle on, you know, tarot or, you know, runes or, you know, any specific practice, moon rituals, astrology or whatever. I kind of dabble into it all and kind of am forming my own sort of world out of it.
Yeah,
Love it.
I love that. Same.
So
I don't know what runes are.
Joey, tell us a little bit about runes.
So runes are basically a set of 25 symbols. Let me show you a couple.
Okay.
Um, they all come from Nordic tradition, and they, as far as I know, anyway, and I could be totally wrong in all of this, is that you know they're very ancient in to a more pastoral lifestyle, and where you know people were um, gauging their prosperity based on how many cows they had or how plentiful their harvest was. You know, the turning of the season and you know the phases of the moon helped them keep track of their time. The runes were set in more of a like ancient divination style before tarot cards. And I don't want to talk about it too much because I haven't really been practicing, so I could say something wrong, and I don't want to offend.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it's great.
But
yeah.
they typically come in the form of like um, wooden discs
Okay.
made from hawthorn. But I've got these cards, and they kind of let me see if I can
Okay.
show you some of them. But they're just different symbols, all
Okay.
of which have like a story behind them. Um, and the stories themselves are basically more like parables in which you can then, same as tarot, you know, extract a message out of it. So I've been sort of playing around with integrating tarot reading with accompaniment of runes. Um, so that's kind of been what I've been dabbling and experimenting with lately.
I love that.
That just reminds me too, when Joey and I are in person, he and I love to read for other people together as a duo because we play off of each other's energy and intuition and always come up with like such a fabulous reading. I don't know what it is. We just have this special like I just see like a lightning bolt like type of energy between us.
Well,
Uh
we like to joke that we have the same brain,
yes.
but in all reality, like you know, the things that you Amber interpret from the cards and the way that I interpret the cards is very different. And when we, do it together, we both formulate a very powerful reading,
Powerful, exactly.
based on our differing perspectives of interpreting the spread itself. So I love
Like, do
tapping into that
me.
energy.
Yeah,
I adore it.
I love reading cards with you.
Okay, well, you'll be here soon. I'll get my
Yeah.
reading from you both.
Yeah, it was real fun too. Just made me think of that. Love that. I love those runes cards so much too. They're so beautiful. And love that you bring both of those energies in together, because they both are a form of divination and a way to, read energy of a situation. And I love
Yeah.
that that's something that you understand to a degree, or like nerd out on.
I'm
Bless you.
getting there. I'm
But
getting
it's something
there.
that piques your interest. I love that that's something that you adore as a form of divination.
What kind of deck do you want us to use for the card pull?
What are my options? I'm a
We'll get you
Libra, so
some
I have to
options.
know all of my options.
Okay, I'll make Amber get on it real quick.
Love it.
I
And
literally,
he's like
weighing the
so fucking Libra in his chart too. There's
I
so
really
much
am.
Libra. Like he's the most Libra.
I know. That was one of the things that Carly pointed out in my natal chart reading was like, she was like, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is all this Libra. I literally have 5 planets in Libra.
I think my Scorpio is the same.
Really?
Yeah, it's like everywhere, all over, through and through.
Yeah. It's intense. I cannot make a decision for the life of me. I've been trying to get better about it.
I love the Libra memes. I always feel like I'm like, because my best friend's a Libra too, and I'm like,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
What was that one? It was like, oh, I'm so stressed out today. And it's like, well, it's Tuesday and you're a Libra. It's like, that's right. You're totally right.
Okay, Amber's going pee. I'm gonna read you the options of the cards.
Okay.
Which we should pull from the Quartz and Rainbows anyways, because that's the best one. So you have the sexiest deck alive.
I
You
love
have,
it.
oh, it's a good one. You have the Mystic Rebel, the Rose Oracle, which is a good one. Vision Quest is the Native American Wisdom Tarot, and then the Moon deck.
Okay. I definitely want to draw a card from The Sexiest Deck Alive by Gigi Sauvage.
Yes.
She is
Amazing.
fantastic.
Agreed.
She's so wonderful.
Agreed.
She had this like kind of giveaway on her Instagram.
Yeah, I follow her Instagram, but I didn't
And
see that.
she gifted me with her learning to fly course. Fly being an acronym meaning fucking love yourself.
Oh my god.
And it was really intense. Like it's like 15 days. She sends you like an email with a video with instructions on what to do to fucking love yourself. And it's like, all right, here we're going to talk about like relaxing, and it's going to be self-care day. We're going to take a bubble bath. We're going to show appreciation and gratitude for, the arms and the legs and the fingers and the stomach, it was just wonderful. And then she would have a few like more emotionally rocking days.
Mm-hmm.
Like write a letter to your parents. And I was like, oh God.
I need to do this. He's talking about the Gigi Sauvage.
Oh, I had a feeling, yeah.
So we're gonna pull from that deck, and then we'll do the Quartz and Rainbow.
Awesome. I knew you were going to want the sexiest deck. I felt
That
like it
sounds
would be perfect.
Great.
Which honestly, the two of
I'm
these
such a
decks together,
cheerleader for
just
Gigi
like
Sauvage.
Yeah, me too. Do we do questions first and then
Yeah.
card?
Yep.
Okay. So
By
Joey.
the way, hi Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, girl. So Joey, we love to ask our guests 2 questions near the end of the episode, and the first question is, what is something self-care that you just can't live without, that you love to practice for yourself?
I would say tapping into your creative energy. And for me, like drawing is a creative outlet for myself. It helps with just, I mean, for me anyway, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at drawing. So when I do draw something, I feel really good. Like I
Awesome.
have a sense of accomplishment. Like I'm really proud of what I produce. So, you know, if I'm feeling a little run down or not good about myself, I'll typically pick up a pencil and start drawing, and like whatever comes out is just fantastic.
Yeah,
And I
like
love
where do
that.
you get your inspiration from your for your art, I guess? Or like how do you psych yourself up to get in the flow of that?
I mean, a lot of it, here's what I say about creative energy. Don't wait for the motivation to hit you before you start something. Do it, and the motivation will
Absolutely.
come.
I think that's like most things in life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Just do it.
Sometimes you just got to get up and do it.
So true.
It's my pep talk to the gym. So
Yeah.
same.
Joey is an incredible artist, and
I would love to see some of your art.
Yeah, I'm always encouraging him to make magic happen, because it's always so beautiful when he gets in his creative flow and he just can't stop for a while. It's so good.
So we ask every guest at the end of the podcast, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
If I could tell my younger self something, it would have to be that you have to hold space for yourself. It's important that you love yourself.
Yes.
Before you're able to love anything else.
Agreed.
That makes my heart like, I just feel like yeah, I just feel that. I feel it.
Yes.
That's such good advice, and so important, and not always easy to do, but we all are worthy of loving ourselves. And when you do love yourself, so much magic happens around you.
Yeah. And
do you love yourself right now, Joey?
Of course I do. I'm getting better at it.
Good. Yeah. Good.
I think it's a lifelong journey.
Truth.
I agree.
But also to spring from what Monica was saying in the last episode, you know, I think it's important that everybody knows that, you know, you are welcome to take up space, because space is not finite. It is infinite. So
absolutely,
don't feel bad about taking up that space. Take up as much as you need. There's plenty of it.
Yeah.
and whatever and whoever is meant to be around you in that space will come.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's this is coming through right now. I just have to say it because I was thinking about this the other day. When we were going to Pascal's for the first witchy night, is like, I almost started crying as soon as I pulled into the parking lot, because I was like, one, this is what an incredible experience that I'm about to have, that I didn't have to like really try hard to get involved in. It was just simply me being myself, being who I am naturally, and getting comfortable with who I am. And because I got comfortable with who I am, these beautiful souls came into my life, which aligned me on this path to be here right now at this fabulous winery, my favorite in Southern Oregon, with like the most incredible family that works there. And they were like, I know you and you're a witchy babe, and I want you to come be a part of this witchy night. And so simply just being who I am brought me the opportunities that I'm getting right now. And it's not easy to do that, but it is so fucking worth it when you finally own who you are and align yourself to be more authentically yourself. And when you do, life fucking happens.
Yeah, the door's open.
The door's open.
Absolutely.
The universe brings you the
weird.
people. Yes.
Hell yeah.
And I still have room for growth. Like there's still more levels of my authenticity that have yet
Every
to
day.
emerge. Like I'm not 100% me, and I know that, and I'm so excited to see who she becomes and the shit that happens in her life because she is who she fucking is.
Woo!
So that's permission for you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yay. Okay, Joey, I'm going to like kind of flip through these cards and I want you to say stop when you feel like it. I'm going.
I can't see. You guys are like
Well, I'm
silhouette
going,
in
so
the windows.
just I'm shuffling right now, so
stop.
okay. Abundance.
Ooh.
You need to move your body and welcome shifts out of lack and into abundance. Shake that lack shit off. Seduce yourself and be open and receptive to all the abundance all around you. And so it is.
Yes, baby.
I love that.
I love that too.
Oh, Gigi Savage.
Agree.
You gorgeous human. Love her art. Love her magic.
Amazing.
Love this deck.
And then one more.
If you're not following Gigi Sauvage, you have to. She's fantastic.
She's so amazing. Oh, okay.
I guess that's the one.
Card.
This is Taylor's card that she had on her
the background
of her phone for months. Is the one that just flipped out. It's #222. Bitch, stop worrying. Everything is working out in your favor as usual. Yes, bitch.
What an amazing card pull.
So good.
What an amazing interview. Finally.
Yes, finally. Yay. Our Joey. Thank you so much for being vulnerable today and sharing your life story and sharing your energy. I love you immensely. I'm so grateful for you and everything that we've done to grow together and all our future growth that we have ahead of us as well. If people would love to follow you and connect with you, where can they find you?
So I've got 2 different Instagram accounts. My personal account is at Funky Homosexual. It's private, so you'll have to request it. So that's fine. You can DM me if you have questions or if you're just going into introducing yourself to witchcraft, you want to talk about some things or just feel validated, you can definitely DM me and I can show up for you.
Open the
if you
door.
want to follow, absolutely, I'll greet you at the door. And then if you want to follow my art, it's at Giuseppe Arts 303. I haven't posted in a while, but I've been meaning to. So
it's okay.
You can check out my previous stuff if you want.
Yes. You also have a third Instagram account.
I was gonna say, isn't there like a
we
like
didn't
a
talk about
horror movie account?
Oh, yeah, I am a horror movie savant, as our friend Cheyenne has aptly labeled me.
I was about to say, who am
I
I
love
following? I
horror.
thought it was Joey.
It's well that account is the three of us.
It's a
Okay.
project between the three of us, the hashtag cunts we call ourselves. Me,
Yes.
Joey, and Cheyenne. But Joey is really the best at managing and doing anything on that account. So it's practically his account.
It's called Buckets O' Blood. I post the
Love
movies that I
it.
watch there.
He watches
That's really just
anything
for fun.
that's amazing and wonderful in the theaters, or anything that is like D-rated and below.
Oh my gosh. I
He's
mean,
a big
okay.
fan of those B-rated horror movies.
Considering that this is going out to the masses, if you have not seen Night of the Demons, it's my love song for horror. It's just the best.
Yeah,
That
if
movie
you enjoy horror movies,
holds a place
really
in my heart.
Yeah, and it is like our movie anthem for you, me, and Cheyenne for our horror club. It is the anthem of Buckets of Blood.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, technically that's Hatchet.
Well, that was kind of
Because
all on the same night.
We were watching Hatchet, and that's when they
that
threw
is,
a bucket of blood on a tree.
Yeah. That's true.
And all of those movies are fantastic too. Practical special effects totally trump all special effects. I'm sorry, but CGI just has nothing on practical special effects.
It's true.
In my opinion. So
our Joey, the man of many interests. I love you. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
I love you too.
I can't wait to see you.
And I'm so excited to meet you in a couple weeks, Taylor.
Yeah.
Yes. Big hugs are coming.
Yes.
And I'll be able to drink wine by then.
Yes. We will have
fantastic. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Coming.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful and can't wait for everyone to finally meet Joey. Drink some water.
All I can think of is drink water. Find a hot tub or hot spring.
Get some electrolytes.
Yeah. I just agree with everything you say right now. If you have been curious about an oracle deck or a tarot deck, buy yourself one.
I love that. Yeah. Unlock your creativity.
Write a letter to your inner child.
Masturbate.
Meditate. Hallucinate.
I was like looking for something like that. This episode was audio engineered by Rachel Ludeman.
Find us on TikTok and Instagram at Waking Up the Witch.
Please email us your witchy stories, ghost stories, corrections, and advice questions to wakingupthewitch@gmail.com.
Love you.
Love you.